Bliss. I don't know this word.
Bliss is like saying, it's a nicer way of saying ecstasy, you know, it's just, and that's never gone away.
Did you buy a new pedal?
No. So I've
I bought a...
as well. That's good.
We're called Western Suburbs, but I don't consider it the West. From Homebush, you're 10-15 minutes in good traffic, you're in the city.
You've got maybe 20-30 minutes on a train or something like that to get out of the Western Suburbs and into the CBD. It's really not that big a deal.
Some people still like to classify the different suburbs in Sydney. Like there's a real kind of elitism about the inner west, I guess.
There's this notion of the West, so it's just, you know, you think, well, I'm not going out there, it's dodgy.
There's more venues in the city in the inner west than out west.
The Mars Cafe in Parramatta occasionally will have some live acoustic stuff. It's just tiny little things, you know, it's not much of a community.
I could probably count on the fingers of both hands the number of times I've seen Western Sydney bands play in Western Sydney venues. When they play, they have to go into the inner city or the inner west to play shows.
It's a massive area. There's over 2 million people in Western Sydney.
If your band's from Blacktown, then you should be able to see them play in Blacktown and not Newtown.
The western suburbs is a little bit more, you know, it's more European and Asian, so you get a lot of different tastes.
It's more guitar based, it's more hardcore, not so much electronic.
But there is a place called Beat Disc Records, which has got a quite similar vibe to here at Blackwire.
It's a good independent shop, and they actually do have some live music there as well.
I think it's a very important thing to have Beat Disc in Parramatta. There's a big demographic of people, a lot of young people still live out here.
There should be like a scene in Parramatta, there should be a scene in Campbelltown, there should be a scene in
Well,
fucking
it's a
Wollongong.
pub,
No, they're not, but I'm just saying, like, that's how it fucking really should be. And that would be a real... Gate closed down, Annandale closed down, so they were quiet.
Hopetown
closed down. Excelsior closed down, yeah.
I mean, the Annandale's just gone under, which was one of the main surviving venues.
It got sold to a private seller, and I think they're continuing with the live music.
It was one of those places, it was always a pleasure to watch a band.
Now the Annandale is owned by Oscar's Hotels, who run the Taraji Beach Hotel. People who buy houses near venues and then can make noise complaints, they need to be completely invalid.
If you move into the area with a pub that's got live bands, it's your freaking problem. If you don't like it, sorry, move to buttfuck Idaho. Really, because you're killing my industry.
It's on its way to trying to kill venues all around the place, and it's such a shame.
It's easy to, like, you know, slag off venues and shit like that for closing down, but man, they probably only closed down because they stopped making money. But I think the main reason is people just stopped coming.
They need people to come in to get the money, and then they will put bands on.
They usually require like a fucking minimum of a whole bunch of people that they want to turn up, which often
They'll say,
not gonna happen.
They'll send you an email, come and play here
Yeah.
on Saturday night,
Like, well,
have to bring 30 people. It's like, well, that's not going to happen.
The 3 venues that were fucking gold for us and we played non-stop was the Vulcan Hotel, the Elswick, and Strawberry Hills Hotel. Strawberry Hills Hotel now has karaoke, no live music there. And the Vulcan Hotel is now a boutique bed and breakfast.
Superfly, a Sydney-based band founded by Peter Black, who got his start as a member of a punk band called the Hard-Ons, who are, again, not only Australian royalty in terms of punk rock, but internationally renowned.
The Hard-Ons really turned me on to Australian music. When I was really young, I always came to Sydney and I'd go to Nunchucker, Superfly and Hard-Ons shows.
I thought they were a very mischievous sort of punk.
These are guys that live and breathe music, and yeah, they're a really strong part of what's built up to be Australia's punk rock scene.
I remember getting their record in high school. Nunchucker are awesome as well. It's almost the same band. A bit more psyche, I guess.
Blackie, or Peter, he's working at a lot of these venues. He's playing solo, he's playing with the Hard-Ons, he's playing with Nunchucker.
When I first met him, I thought he was going to be a bit sort of, not tough, but like a bit edgy. But he's just gentle. He's just got a nice accent. I think he's Italian. They've got a Hard-Ons website. There's all these photos of them touring Europe and stuff. Just these photos that don't look possible, like he's jumping in the air. But you don't know how he's done it.
Ray works in a record shop and I always used to go there when I was a kid and buy records.
Yeah, the big metal record
and that's
shop.
sort of how I found about a lot of Australian bands and a lot of 70s punk stuff.
They've never taken themselves too seriously, and I always found that so endearing. They were a constantly touring and constantly working band.
I played an acoustic set with him recently, like a few months ago, and he just like watched me play everything, went up to me afterwards, that was great, shook my hand, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I'm wearing fucking grey socks and sandals, so what? You know, we had that attitude and we carried it in the music, really heavily, actually.
See, I think of punk and I think of Sex Pistols. That's punk. That's the original punk.
When punk first started, it was huge in a way, like it's a massive rebellion from prog rock. There was always stuff happening in Australia, so you had the Saints, which was a Brisbane-based band. You had Sydney and Melbourne, you had bands like Radio Birdman. Secretly, Australia kind of started punk with the Saints, with Stranded. Do you know that song? You have to check that song out. That album came out first. That was the first punk album back in 1977, before Sex Pistols and The Clash put out their first punk albums.
Punk rock was like, hey man, just relax. Whoever you are is who you are, and if you're different, then that's cool. Join us. You know, you don't need to fit into any. Yeah, it's a really simple message, but when you're little and don't understand these things, it's like, oh, fuck yeah.
That's the crux of what the world should be. It should be inclusive, you know, and that's what punk is meant to be. And I've done the whole punk thing. I've had piercing, pierced ear, safety pin, you know, just like a punk, try to understand punk, but I'm not a punk. I'm just like an idiot who plays guitar. So like, we played at a venue in King's Cross, which I won't name, and I just went off my rocker, because I wasn't having fun, because no one was there. It was badly promoted. You know, the sound guy was hassling us to stop playing at the end. The DJ was, so he could DJ for people to dance to. Okay, so I'm going to be a punk. And so I put my guitar on distortion, and then I took it off my shoulder, took it on stage, bashed it on the ground for like 20 seconds, came back up on stage, G-tuned every string, threw the guitar on the ground, walked off.
Yes, I'm Leaving was just what that tape was called.
Yeah. Tensenman described it as a fallish post-punk.
Smashing Pumpkins, Red Hot Chili Peppers. You don't think about what the band name actually means, you just think of the band. When we first started, Anthony was just first learning how to play drums, just started playing. And so he had a very different style back then. It wasn't as, I guess, aggressive. No, it was, but it wasn't.
He's a very angry man, but he's very quiet. One reason is he hates work, but that's how he enables himself to beat the crap out of that kit for 40 minutes or so without passing out. Cook's a bit harder to pinpoint where his rage comes from, but he does work in IT, so.
Well, our new album just came out pretty recently. Billy recorded it on his little recording machine that he has. We got a friend, Ivan, who's in another Sydney band called Narrowlands. He mixed it for us. Last time we just kind of tried to do it all ourselves, and came out sounding like just really loud and distorted. But that's what people ended up liking about it.
People love angry music. Like, that's what punk and hardcore and rap and grunge and all of those genres had anger in them, because anger's a powerful emotion to express live.
I feel like a lot of the stuff we do with music comes, from a hatred of society in a way. Feeling like you don't fit into, not like other people. Yeah, like if I'm at my day job, for example, I'm kind of just have to feel like I have to fake that I'm a human.
Ready when you are.
If it's heavy, to me it's metal. And doesn't matter if it's black death, new metal, metalcore, whatever. It's all heavy, and you know we all belong together.
The core aspect of it is all about loud guitar, heavy music, and a sense of freedom and rebellion that sets it apart from the mainstream. It's got its own factions and politics. It's like a world of its own, but where everybody's part of that and it's theirs. It's something that they have that no one else has. People who are outside, a little bit scary, a little bit rebellious, a little bit noisy, a bit loud. People might not be able to understand it. It's like a different language or a different culture. And it's something that they're part of that no one else is. So they share that.
You can put metal and punk in an alternative bracket, but you know, it's just fucking funny how a lot of people love brackets as well. You know, we used to make fun of it. It got really popular in the late 80s to have, oh, you know, we're death metal, or we're street punk, or we're fucking, you know, metalcore, you know, with Cookie Monster vocals and, you know, a touch of, you know, Joy Division. You know, I found that really funny. It was like, oh, fuck. It's just fucking call it rock and roll.
It essentially gives the idea that it's not something that you're going to hear like within the top 40. But again, that's been proven wrong because Nirvana were considered an alternative band, and in the early 90s at least, they were one of the biggest bands in the world.
It has to evolve, and if it doesn't evolve, it's going to die, you know, it's like Latin.
The only unlucky thing is, in Australia, it's impossible to make money from music, unless you're in the lucky 5%.
I guess Australia's kind of strange because it's so far between the big cities. If you want to play a show in Melbourne, you have to fly, or you drive for 10 hours to get there.
And everyone goes, oh wow, 5 million copies here. I said, in LA. That's just LA. And they go, yeah? Well, there's 25 million people living in LA. We don't even have 25 million people living in the whole of Australia.
Our friends band, the Melvins, they were saying, man, we sometimes tour 3 times a year, like big tours, and we don't play the same place twice. It's like, fuck, in Australia all you got, Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Adelaide.
We don't have the venues, we don't have the population.
And we had like, Liberal government for 4 terms, that everyone's attitude is very conservative now. And then when it does give money to art, man, it gives money to, more highbrow art, like, opera or jazz. I don't want to fucking listen to opera, it makes me want to, for me, opera is waiting for me in hell. Art sort of helps you evolve mentally. It's so wonderful for your brain that what happens up there, all your little neurons are playing beach volleyball and going crazy.
It has to be real. It has to be genuine.
Don't have to go to shows. If I don't want to, if I do, I can. It's a perfect medium.
No, they're not playing beach volleyball, they're playing cricket.
It's the first thing that ever really spoke to me, like, in a way that no adult, no teacher, no friend could. Like, it just picked the right words. I've never, ditched a gig so I can go to someone's party or something like that. I've never been like that.
I guess you just want to keep putting out records, and people like them, that's great, but if they don't, then just probably keep doing it anyway.
All aspects of it, it's all blissful, practicing at home, fucking writing a song, then showing the guys the song, then playing a song live, even sitting in a stinking van, for a 10-hour drive to Melbourne. It's, to play a show to 200 people, then drive back the same night. It's fucking bliss. That's why I hate when you have a lot of people involved in the music industry who are just in it for the money or whatever. It's like, oh, fuck off. Don't fucking taint this pure art form. And I'm getting close to 50, I'm fucking 47, but my love for it each year just gets bigger and bigger.